morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at the deck, which I think it's fair to say has been confirmed as the very best deck in the Pokemon trading card game. It's Mewtwo and Mew. Now, some may say that as it went and won the Pokemon World Championships right after it was released, that really confirmed it as the best deck in the Pokemon trading card game. But having said that, it was early on and we hadn't really adjusted to the format. It was a brand new format. Anything could have happened. The deck could have disappointed. Well, last weekend there were big tournaments in both Europe and in North America. And in Europe, the Cologne Regionals was won by the lovely Tord Reklev, playing Mewtwo and Mew. And the Atlantic City Regionals was won by Azul Garcia Grigio, who I assume is lovely, but I've never met him in person, so cannot confirm. Please don't hate me. Playing Mewtwo and Mew. I think it's fair to assume that Mewtwo and Mew is the very best deck in the Pokemon trading card game. When it wins big tournaments in both of the big regions, at least outside of Japan, I think it is fair to assume that makes it the best deck. When I say big regions, I mean no disrespect to Oceania or Latin America or anywhere else, but if you look at tournament attendance, player base, etc., Europe and North America are the big two. We are going purely by stats. Please, nobody be offended. I went to Oceania Regionals a couple years ago, and it was wonderful. Anyway, Mewtwo and Mew then. Now, the deck by now isn't terribly mysterious. It's all based around Mewtwo and Mew and the Perfection ability. It can use the attacks of any Pokemon GX or EX on the bench or in your discard pile. Now, the focus of this video really is going to be looking at some of the weird attacks played by Tord and Azul as they went towards winning this weekend. However, we should have just a very quick reminder of the deck. So, in a nutshell, it accelerates energy using Welder. It is a deck built around fire energy, purely because Welder can attach 2 fire energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon and draw 3 cards. While you're using fire energy anyway, you may wish to use Giant Hearth to draw yourself those fire energy out of the discard pile. And honestly, that's largely what we see. You could play Heat Factory Prism Star for a little bit of draw power. You could play Fire Crystal to get the energy out of the discard. That's not played quite so much. Now, in terms of the Pokemon that Mewtwo and Mew tends to copy, there are a couple that do seem pretty much staples at this point. The Solgaleo GX, the second one, that's got a lovely attack for 2 energy. That does 120 and accelerates 2 energy to a bench Pokemon. That's pretty big. Weirdly, Macargo seems to have become a bit of a staple. It can do big damage discarding energy, but it can also discard the top 5 cards of your opponent's deck. Great if they're pretty close to actually decking out. Latios GX is pretty gosh darn huge for the attack that makes you immune to Tag Team GXs the following turn, given the format we're in at the moment. Reshiram and Charizard is a great attacker, especially given that as it's a basic that uses fire energy, you can just use it on its own. You don't have to be a tag team and Mewtwo and Mew copying it. You can just be Reshiram and Charizard as a tag team yourself. And then you do have a different weakness, which is quite nice. Naganadel GX is pretty standard, so that you can hit 170 to the bench. And you'll notice that Naganadel as well as Latios use Psychic Energy, so while we're using Psychic Energy, it is extremely common to see Espeon and Deoxys coming along with the GX attack that can drop 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon, or 20 if you've got 6 energy on there. They really up to now have been the staple Pokemon, the ones that you need to go for, the ones that are incredibly important. They're the ones that we're copying, they're the ones with which we are attacking. Now, around about a month ago, Hidden Fates came out, and the one that got added to the list was the Charizard GX from Hidden Fates. And the reason was extremely simple. It has a GX attack, which for 4 energy does 300 damage. And this was great for the mirror match, or indeed any match where you're going up against tag team GXs. Because essentially what you do is you get an energy on turn 1, an energy on turn 2. One of those turns you use a welder, and if you go first, you're getting the first attack for 300 damage, KOing a tag team GX, and yeah, that swings the game in your favour. But both Torn and Azul have come out this weekend with slight differences in their list. So if we have a look starting off at Tor's list, and the deck lists here are courtesy of LimitlessTCG.com, the coolest and weirdest thing that jumps out in Tor's list is a 2-2 line of Shedinja. Now, Shedinja's got a rather phenomenal ability, Vessel of Life. Once during your turn, you may discard all cards attached to this Pokemon and attach it to one of your Pokemon as a Pokemon tool. When the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. It's life due. But here is, I believe, the genius of this tech. You are a Tag Team GX deck. Now, the deck will play Dedenne to get set up, and you might end up attacking with Latios. But other than that, you are a Tag Team GX deck. So either you get Shedinja rolling, and then you give up 1 fewer prize, or your opponent uses their custom catcher, generally, to take out Shedinja. They use resources to take out Shedinja, except you give up a prize that doesn't matter. I mean, if you can keep your GXs off the field, or indeed if your opponent just takes out your Shedinja, then all of a sudden, they take out 2 Shedinja, but they've still got to KO 2 Tag Team GXs in order to win the game. Or they don't take out your Shedinja early, and then they've got to KO 3 tag teams in order for you to win the game. And we don't have things like Field Blower at the moment to get rid of Shedinja. This tech is absolute genius. Now, the other card which I absolutely love that we found in Tor's deck this weekend, I mean, in terms of Pokemon, there was really only one other new one, and it was the Greninja GX from Detective Pikachu. Now, I've told you this in a couple videos, and I told you that this should be going into Mewtwo and Mew decks. Now, one of the cool things here is it's got an ability whereby if it's the only card in your hand, you can play it straight onto the bench, even though it's a stage 2, and draw 3 cards. Yowza! But it doesn't really matter whether you use it as it is or copy it with Mewtwo and Mew. What is the important thing here is Miss Slash. 2 energy, 130 damage, and it goes through any effects on the defending Pokemon. One of the things that people have noticed about Mewtwo and Mew is that if you've got Alolan Ninetales, it completely shuts the deck down because the deck generally does not play non-GX attackers. Well, Greninja here is just like, yo, don't worry about it, boys. I've got this. It is a brilliant tech. Now, of course, that does mean you need to play a little bit of water energy, as opposed to the fire and psychic you do generally. And while we're talking about energy, Tord played Weakness Guard energy, but did not play Jirachi GX. And I love this. Jirachi GX is a 160 HP Pokemon sitting on your bench, and Jirachi GX can be turned off by Power Plant. Weakness Guard energy cannot be turned off by Power Plant. So it seems like a safer bet. Tord actually played 3 Weakness Guard energy and played no Jirachi. Now, one of the interesting things there is, of course, that you lose a little bit of consistency. It's much easier to search out Pokemon, Cherish Ball, than it is to actually search out special energy. So we saw Tord playing Red Challenge and Hapu. Now, Red's Challenge, discard 2 cards from your hand, search your deck for any card. Okay, fine, you're giving up a turn of Welder, but actually this is quite important where you need to search your Weakness Guard energy, Shedinja, etc. Hapu is just a very aggressive supporter card. You look at the top 6 cards of your deck, discard 4, put 2 in your hand. This is how he's able to actually set up with a slightly weirder deck. Now, if we go and look at Azul's deck, the Pokemon seem a lot more standard, except we do add in a couple of non-GX Pokemon. But not for the reasons you might think. So Wobbuffet comes in, and this is a card we've seen teched into a whole bunch of decks over the, well, I was going to say years then, certainly since Lost Thunder came out. It essentially turns off Prism Star Pokemon. They cannot attack, have no abilities. And there's a bunch we could look at here, but Tapu Koko, Prism Star Accelerating Energy, and Ditto Evolving into any Stage 1 are the main 2 that come to mind for me here, though maybe you find the odd Diancie Prism Star running around in fighting decks. As for Mewtwo, when you play the Pokemon onto your bench, you may put a supporter card from your discard pile on top of your deck. And it really is just a way of getting back your supporter cards, the ones that you may wish to use in the future. It's kinda wonderful. Now, Azul's deck in terms of trainer cards doesn't really have any giant surprises like we saw from Tords, but we do see 4 Pokegear 3.0, really just to give you that extra added consistency. 4 Mysterious Treasure, really good for searching out, especially when you're playing some non-GX Psychic Pokemon. And 3 Acrobike, just to give yourself that little bit of an extra speed boost. Also worth noting the 1 energy recycle system for getting your energy back, especially those couple of psychic energy that you play. The thing about Mewtwo and Mew is that it is inevitably going to be a deck with a very difficult deck list to actually pin down. It is more techable than the vast majority of decks that we've seen over the years, especially the really good decks. But I will tell you that these are 2 phenomenal deck lists, and they are showing us different ways to play the deck. And I will tell you that, oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's probably won enough tournaments we can go, oh yeah, no, that's definitely the best. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know what you think about Mewtwo and Mew in these particular lists. So go nuts in the comment section, be nice, and then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk Keyforge and Transformers and basically any other game that takes my fancy. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.